In this video, we're going to look at Chapter 2, which includes business models, and we'll look at some of the components of a business model, and we're going to focus on how e-commerce affects specific parts of business models. We'll certainly mention the other parts, but we're going to focus on the areas that e-commerce has the most significant impact. So here are the different elements, and we're going to talk about each one, but we'll primarily focus on the value proposition and the revenue model. And when we talk about each one of these elements, we're going to offer a question that we should be answering. And so let's start with the value proposition. So the question here is, why should the customer buy from you? Or from our perspective, why should the customer buy from us? We're going to use Amazon as an example, and we'll walk through some of the different reasons why people want to buy from websites, and then we'll compare that to the value that Amazon offers. So first, personalization and customization. When you think of personalization, think about when you're on Amazon, and let's say you just bought a hummingbird feeder. So the next time you log on and open up Amazon in a browser, you see bird food, and you see other bird feeders, and you see books about how to feed wild birds. So this is personalization, when based on your activity, the website actually personalizes the offerings to you. Now when you think of customization, don't think so much about when I'm on Amazon, I can customize my search by clicking on different options. Think of customization as getting exactly what you want. Let's say when you're purchasing a personal computer, controlling the amount of RAM, the size of the monitor, the amount of hard disk storage, right? Those kinds of things. Or when you plan a vacation, where you're going to go, when you're going to arrive, what kinds of services are you going to need? Are you going to need a hotel? Are you going to need a car? And those kinds of things. So certainly Amazon is big on personalization, but not so much on customizing those individual items. Next, Amazon is really good at this, and it's trustworthiness. It's how much confidence do we have in the website that we're doing business in. I know a lot of times if I find something that's maybe $1 cheaper somewhere else, if I'm not really sure about the website and whether I can trust them to secure my information and honor my privacy, I'm okay spending a little bit more money on Amazon. Next, selection and convenience. So just think of all the things that you can get on Amazon, the different categories, the different products that they have, and certainly their one-click purchasing options and having things shipped to your house, and Amazon Prime and all the benefits you get there. Amazon is also good for reducing product search time. And then lastly, the benefit of having notifications on shipments sent to your email account and having that pushed to your phone. All of those things make the value proposition for Amazon pretty compelling. But clearly the most important value proposition is selection and convenience for Amazon. So that's kind of answering the question of why customers should buy from us. Now we need to figure out how we're going to make money. So we're going to take a look at a couple of different models here. One of those is called a subscription revenue model, and that is where you pay a fee, like on Hulu. You have to pay a little bit of money, and you have to pay that on a periodic basis. The freemium strategy is what Spotify employs, and that is you can get the services of Spotify, listen to music, and they also have a upgrade so that you can pay for premium services where you don't have to listen to commercials and so forth. The transaction fee revenue model is when you pay for a service that a website provides. For example, a stock trade like E-Trade, Scottrade. For example, a travel transaction, purchasing an airline ticket, making a hotel reservation. So all of that is based on getting a little commission based on transactions. Sales revenue includes Amazon, like we just talked about, and any other website that sells you a good or service. Something that we may not know a lot about is the affiliate revenue model. For example, Amazon Associates. If you have a website and you link to Amazon to a specific product, and the person following the link actually purchases that, then you get a little commission back on that sale. So you might do a site where you review some item, maybe it might be a backpack or something, and then link to Amazon through Amazon Associates, and then you get a little affiliate kickback on that for any time people purchase things. And then lastly is the advertising revenue model. So YouTube is certainly a great example for that. All of those commercials you have to watch in between, looking at people falling off a motorcycle or looking at cute cat videos, all of those are generating views for different ads. So let's take a look at some of the things that we need to keep track of, some of the stats that are important to understanding how well we're doing as a website, but also critical to the advertising revenue model. So these statistics we'll call performance metrics, and the first one we'll look at is traffic, and this can go by the name of traffic or number of visitors, but we want to know two basic things about the traffic. One, how many visitors there are and where do they come from. Different websites, Google Analytics and other proprietary software from web hosting services might call these by slightly different names, but we're looking at the source being, did they come from a generic search in a search engine like Google? Did they type in the URL in the address box directly, or did they click on a link that came from maybe a social media site, maybe from a affiliate site? So the number of people as well as where they came from are things that are important. Next is something called the bounce rate, and that's just simply a measurement of the percentage of visitors that come to the site and immediately leave. So they hit the back button, they close the tab, but they don't stay on the site. Now, if they do stay on the site, we have a metric called stickiness. Stickiness is the measurement of how long people stay on the site. So we start the clock when the initial request is made, and so that is by clicking on a link or typing something in the address box, the URL. And then once all of the web page assets, the HTML page, the images, any videos or sound files, once that loads up, then we start the clock. And from that point until they leave the website, close the browser, that's called stickiness. So when you're thinking of, am I going to put an ad on this particular website, we want to know a couple of things. Are there a lot of people going there? That's traffic. Do they stay there? That's a low bounce rate. And then how long they stay, that's stickiness. And then the last thing we want to look at is the conversion rate, and that is how often visitors turn into customers. And so there's a lot of different subcategories within here, but that's a good feel for the kinds of things that we want to keep track of when we have a website. Next we'll look at some things, and we're not going to spend a lot of time on these, but rather we're going to look at them, give you the question that's being asked, and examples where appropriate. So market opportunity, this is often called market space. It is an area within the World Wide Web, typically some kind of a market or maybe a niche within the market. And when we go into the market space, we want to understand who the competitors are in that space, how many there are. Maybe we look at market share, the profitability of those competitors, maybe their pricing. Next, we want to look at what our customers think we do better than our competitors. And the way I worded this is specific because it's not something we think we do better, it's something that our customers value. So that's called a competitive advantage, and that's just something that we do better than our competition that adds value for our customers. Next, market strategy includes how we're going to tell people about what we're doing. And the next two are management issues. Certainly important, but we're not going to talk a lot about that in this class. How we're going to set up the company, in terms of the organization, and then who's going to run the show and get all of this accomplished. So certainly critical parts of the business model, but we're going to focus on the e-commerce areas of the business model.